you can actually exist without a bank thanks to all of this amazing new blockchain tech.
A couple important things. One, we can't be debanked, which is huge. We control our own money. Not everyone can say that. If we have a bank organization and they decide one day they like us and the next day they don't, they see crypto as a competitor, they don't want to affiliate with that, then they could one day just knock us off their account. That happened to me back in 2017. I was kicked off of PNC Bank for just getting a transaction from Coinbase. They tried to not give me my money for like months, and then I went into the bank and forced them to give me my money. So when someone else holds your money, it's really not your money. So being bankless actually is the only way to truly have sovereignty over your own money. The other thing is we're avoiding fees by not having a bank.
All right, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the Advantage Blockchain UEV podcast. Today, we have a big day. Bitcoin hits 100K. We've been waiting years for this, and the day has finally come. And we have our good buddy Michael Saylor here in his Bitcoin hat.
Dylan, he looks like you at your happy birthday.
That's a part.
Why does he look like that?
Because he knows that we're at the new bottom, and he's only going to crack a smile when Bitcoin hits 1 million, I guess. Everyone's saying Bitcoin is now only 0.1 million, which I would fade that trade, but the
Bitcoin just got cheap again. Yeah, Bitcoin just got cheap again. For some reason, the psychology works where when it hits a nice, clean, round, whole number, people want to get into the market instead of when they should have gotten in a long time ago. It is still early, in my opinion. We can, differ on opinions there, but
I definitely think we're still early in the market. Dill, you can hop over to the Bitcoin chart.
My question really is this actually a real party or is this AI? Because when I look
at
it,
it was live stream. That looks like AI, but last night I was on the live stream for honestly 4 hours. It was when Bitcoin hit 100K. It was there was a couple million people in there. It was just the ticker going on second candles, changing every half second, and there was house music in the back. It was honestly pretty fun, and I'm guessing they had it streamed on a lot of big TVs all around, and it was maybe possibly put on by Saylor himself, the Bitcoin party, 100K party.
Anyway, Bitcoin's absolutely tearing past 100K, little pullback now, but it really flew through 100K. There wasn't too much of a battle. It just went straight over. So it's huge to see. And I was actually thinking about how the growth of Bitcoin compares to Ethereum right now. And I think we still have a long way to go for ETH.
Show us the monthly candles on Bitcoin. Like I've been saying, I've been kind of predicting for a while now for years that I think around 120K is going to be the top for Bitcoin. That could fly past and really maybe we go up another 20% up to 145 area. I think past that, I will be surprised. But that's kind of what I'm calling. I think as all of the big money starts to enter into Bitcoin, that's amazing for the whole market. Not trying to fade Bitcoin. I think it's a clear sign that the market is growing, which is beautiful for everything. But I think that, a lot of the smart money is at this time, they're selling you their Bitcoin or, retail, and they're starting to buy the next best bet like ETH or a lot of these other projects that are in much younger stages that are actually very, very great fundamental tech. So we're watching everything, obviously. If you look here at the monthly chart, it's you could stretch it out, but it's a lot. We're still in the terms of months. We're still early. How long has gold been around? How long has the stock market been around? I think we got some legs.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty bearish case on Bitcoin, Marc.
Agreed.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I get that institutions are going to look at something like Ethereum and notice that it's really good for blockchain beyond just the store of value. And you think that, as Fidelity and as Blackrock and as some of these bigger players start to push Ethereum and its use cases, as some of the use cases become more prevalent and more usable for all of these other industries like gaming, AI, cloud computing, decentralized finance. I do agree that some of the market share will be taken from Bitcoin. I do think that it's not a zero-sum game, as we've learned in the past, where I don't think there's ever going to be an inflow to crypto like we're going to see during this bull run. Institutions are now putting money into it. I don't think it's like an either or. People are going to sell their Bitcoin to get to ETH. I think it's like people are going to put their money into Bitcoin and then they're going to use other money to buy ETH, which is really good for the industry. I think people are going to take their 1% allocations to crypto. They're going to raise that to 5%. In some cases, probably 10%. Like some of the asset managers are now calling for. It's all very exciting nonetheless. And I think, as you said, Marc, it's good for the whole industry. And, we're so early.
Yeah, Bitcoin definitely is going to keep going. I personally think we'll see higher than 120K. We're almost there now. But let's take a look over at Ethereum as well. I was thinking about this simple math the other day. The simple math tells you Bitcoin is almost double the last high. And right now, Ethereum's seriously lagging, right? Our last high was over $4,000. So if Ethereum just simply catches up to what Bitcoin is doing now, that's going to put us over $8,000. So that's a little bit of bullish hopium that I'm looking at there. Sometimes the most simple math is the best. So I think it's very early for ETH. Still probably a great time to get in, especially for someone that's looking at like ETH versus Bitcoin right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think ETH is very undervalued by a lot of metrics. It's been a laggard in the past couple of years, really the past 2 years compared to Bitcoin, Solana, and we'll see. Time will tell. We've got about roughly 40% of our fund right now bet on ETH and staked ETH, and that is our biggest bet right now. There's just so much fundamental development that's going on. It's like this tech is, believe it or not, and in our opinion, still undervalued. But yeah, we will see. Time will tell.
Yeah, it's got the best developers working on it. It's got the most developers working on it. It's where all the money is in crypto. Really, when you think about total value locked and platforms that are being used, ETH is extremely impressive, and it's gotten a weird reputation over the past few years that I think we're about to finally get over because, like you said, Marc, it's fundamentally too good to be lagging behind this much.
Absolutely. Well, let's keep it moving. Next up, we have something that's pretty exciting. Marc Andreessen was on the Joe Rogan podcast. So let's talk about that. It's pretty dope. And here, talking a little bit about people getting debanked.
Yeah, this is something that I think is very close to the AB heart because we are a bankless organization, one of the first in the world. And I'll pass it off to Marc on why and what benefits we get from that. But before I do, I'll give a little background. Pretty much what happened and what Marc Andreessen is describing here is certain organizations and people have been debanked for political views, for ways of thinking, for coming out and saying specific things, not necessarily being debanked for doing something objectively illegal, which is a problem. And that is too much power that the banks have. You see in some more authoritarian societies, this is definitely a step that those societies take. They can get rid of people, they can censor people, and if you take away someone's ability to make money and bank, that's a huge deal. That's everything to people. So crypto is an extremely good way to get outside of the banking system. That's why we're a bankless organization. And Marc, let me pass it to you to explain why we are and talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, there's not really any benefits as of now, to be honest. We are a bankless organization to start because banks wouldn't bank us. I mean, you walk into a bank and you ask for a business bank account. They ask, "What do you do?" And the moment you mention crypto, they tell you to leave. So it's unfortunate that is the case. But genuinely, there's a much bigger movement that's going on, right? Shouts out to Bankless, the media group. They're on YouTube. They're one of the biggest crypto podcasts in the world. We love them. They're called Bankless, and they're always pushing the narrative of a bankless society. I mean, what first got me into crypto was in 2016 watching the collapse or the tentative collapse of Deutsche Bank, which then got bailed out after that, so it didn't really fall. But understanding all the issues that were going on and starting to understand what fractional reserve banking is and some of the just clear fundamentally wrong doings of the modern banking system, and how that is leading to and led to a lot of pain for potentially our generation and generations to come after us. So I would say, just in being a bankless organization, it's like somewhat of a statement towards this new future, which I think is cool. Aside from not being able to send wire transfers, it is nice though to have all of our activities fully on chain and crypto native. Like we are in the trenches, right? We don't have a bank account. You can't send us money. If all of our investors that want to come in, they come in through crypto, whether that be USDC or ETH or Bitcoin. So I think if anything, it is the real benefit is that we're signaling to other organizations that banks are somewhat of a technology of the past, and that you can actually exist without a bank, thanks to all of this amazing new blockchain tech.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit here, Mark. And I hear your point of there aren't as many benefits today because so many people outside of AB that we would like to participate with, they need banks and they use banks. That being said, a couple important things. One, we can't be debanked, which is huge. We control our own money, right? Which is, not everyone can say that. If we have a bank organization and they decide one day they like us and the next day they don't, they see crypto as a competitor, they don't want to affiliate with that, then they could one day just knock us off their account. That happened to me back in 2017. I was kicked, or maybe 2018, but I was kicked off of PNC Bank for just getting a transaction from Coinbase. That is like
that.
I
Melly dropped a song about you, didn't he? YNW Melly, he made that song FPNC Bank. That was about you.
Yeah, exactly. And they tried to not give me my money for like months. And then I like went into the bank and like forced them to give me my money. So when someone else holds your money, it's really not your money. So being bankless actually is like the only way to truly have sovereignty over your own money. The other thing is we're avoiding fees by not having a bank. There are so many bank fees that would be taken if we were just holding a bank account or a savings account. And by holding it outside of a bank, we're not paying fees that other companies are paying. One other point I'd like to make on this. One other point I'd like to make on this before we move on, and then we can move on, is I have been pushing this narrative, and I've become obsessed with this narrative, and I'm trying to speak to financial advisors and wealth managers about this now, of people should stop using savings accounts. The average savings account for a U.S. bank today gives you 0.4% on your money, which is pretty bad. If you have a stable coin, then you can yield anywhere between 5 and 10% in a very safe way, and gain additional yield on your money. And it's just a better way, and it's a way that it's a real crypto application that makes sense to people that are not in crypto, like financial advisors. So we're really trying to push this narrative. By the way, in some cases, it can go far beyond 5 to 10%. We've seen some stable yield pools that can generate up to 50% if you just hold stable coins, which are tied to the US dollar. Something safe like USDC, which is run by Circle, or Tether. It's there's a lot of ways to actually benefit more by holding your money in stable coins as opposed to in a savings account, in a money market account. And Dylan said it earlier to me today, where it's very efficient if you do have a bank account to take out your crypto in the same day and So it's not like you're losing any form, like any liquidity or any speed of use. I truly believe that stablecoins is a better system for holding money if you are trying to have liquid rainy day fund.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
great.
I'm convinced. I think in just a couple minutes you highlighted all of the upsides of not having a bank that I actually never really thought about that. Not being able to have your assets frozen, transacting for way cheaper on Base, regardless. I think it's really interesting. It seems like Coinbase is, or even just Base is starting to build the new banking system, which is awesome to be such an involved part of that with everything we're doing with our fund. So great points. And I love the stablecoin narrative too.
Yeah, they're adding a lot of features which make it easier to be debanked or to be unbanked. And here's another one of them that we're going to talk about next, which is really important, very relevant to all of us, which is taking your fiat to crypto in Apple Pay. It's a simple use case that everybody has. And I personally think it'll be very effective if people can just buy crypto with their Apple Pay. It makes it so much easier. So I think this is really important. It's pretty straightforward, but if you guys want to hop in and say anything about this, I think it's amazing.
Yeah, every day it's getting easier to access crypto. It's awesome. That was the big complaint in the past cycles is how do we onboard retail and everyday people who aren't comfortable with Web3 wallets? How do we get them into the game? And this is one of the best ways I can think of. Apple Pay is so easy to use.
And I think just even more shouts out to Coinbase. Coinbase has so many features that most people haven't even realized yet. I was just saying this to you, Dylan. Like the ability to send a link. I sent Mr. Miggles to a friend. I sent $100 worth of Mr. Miggles to a friend this morning via a link that I just generated in Coinbase Wallet. And they were like, "Oh, I don't want to download another app. It's too much." But I just sent the link, and then the link, shines big bright. Here's $100 in Mr. Miggles. Just click this link. Not a scam, and it takes them to then download a wallet and have everything they need. Use their face to log in. It's like really kudos to Coinbase for building out so much infrastructure in these past 2 years to make everything with onboarding and every aspect of crypto way easier. Like they are really taking, and it's little features. A lot of them, it's like, Apple Pay, right? It's like, okay, you can pay with Apple Pay now. Maybe that's not that big to somebody, but there's probably maybe a couple percent of the population who that does really matter to, and they're onboarding them. They keep going after these, small percents here, small percents there. Next thing seriously, Coinbase and Base is the new base layer financial system. It's absurd, but also awesome.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, people are sketched out by linking their bank account, but everybody and their grandma has Apple Pay these days. So I think it's pretty cool. And a lot of stuff about onboarding today. Next up, we're going to be talking about Schwab, who's actually connecting together some of their traditional investors to the crypto space. I think Alec want to talk a little bit more about this.
Yeah, I'm gonna applaud Schwab, but not because they're not because they're this big crypto friendly company, but because they realized that they were wrong. The CEO just came out and said by the way, for years he was saying crypto is a scam. It's not something that we're gonna get involved with at Schwab. And he finally said, I missed the boat on this, but we're not gonna miss it anymore. They saw what Fidelity is doing. They saw what some of the other big asset managers / brokerages and wirehouses are doing, and they said we're not going to miss out on this because we don't have the fundamental understanding of why it's beneficial. People want this. Our customers are asking for it. We're going to make this available to our investors, and this is a huge thing. And Marc, I don't know if you wanted to add anything on this, but I did want to bring this back to Base for a second. This is why Base is so powerful. So Coinbase is realizing that they are losing some of the market share in a space that they've dominated in for years. They've been the best and most popular crypto on-ramp and exchange for years. And now they are getting way more Web3. they were here. Everyone kind of is catching up by offering their own access to crypto and on ramps. And now they've leveled up even higher before everyone else did by moving to making everything on chain. They are right now so focused on Base and disrupting the financial system by being on chain that is there. And by the time that everybody realizes what they're doing, they're going to be here, and everyone else is still going to be way behind them. Credit to Coinbase. They are an absolute monster.
Absolutely, they're a powerhouse. They're trying to bring 1 billion people on chain. That's been the goal. They've got about 100 million users, according to them, and I believe it. And I believe, to bring 1 billion people on chain, like what is that? Close to 10% of the world at this point. It's no easy feat, especially when this stuff is hard as crab apples to use. I mean, like genuinely. Explaining how to get, for example, we'll bring it back to Mr. Miggles. When I was telling my friend how to buy some Mr. Miggles, I said, okay, well, you can have Coinbase Exchange and then just send a little bit of ETH into there, buy some ETH, then send the ETH into Coinbase Wallet, and then go on Uniswap. And then you just, type in the Mr. Miggles contract and buy some Miggles with your ETH, right? That's easy. But no, that's hard as hell. What was easy was me just sending a link of Mr. Miggles and saying, here's $100 in Mr. Miggles, you can Venmo me for that. It's a lot easier, right? And, in the future, honestly, Venmo is starting to get eaten up by stable coins, right? Because you can also do these sends with USDC. So
yeah, and actually MetaMask just made it possible for you to buy crypto through Venmo.
Nice. I love that. So yeah, Schwab finally buying into Bitcoin is kind of like me finding out about Virtual's protocol at about $200 million market cap and not buying any. And then a week later, it's at about a $2 billion market cap. And I'm deciding I might have to pull the trigger. So we can get to some of our other base picks soon, but it looks like we got some curve action going on. What's this?
Yeah, let's talk about our base picks more towards the end. And right now, we're going to be talking about Curve. And this is really a bridge between traditional finance and DeFi. Again, more onboarding, more on-ramps for people to bring their capital into crypto. So, Alec, you want to talk a little bit more about this?
Yeah, absolutely. This is really exciting and should excite everybody because this is new people entering the crypto and specifically DeFi world. So Blackrock launched a product. It was a money market fund called Buidl, and it's essentially just a money market fund that's on chain. And money markets are an extremely popular fixed income product that a lot of really institutional investors will hold more as a wealth protection tool than a wealth growth tool. And right now, what they made it available to qualified purchasers. Qualified purchasers are the richest of high net worth individuals. They are people that have $5 million in liquid assets. So it's a new group that is typically not exposed to crypto. And right now, what they were doing, which was really exciting, and I've talked about this a lot, but BlackRock through Buidl was making their distributions of their money market funds to these qualified purchasers in USDC. Very exciting. These investors now have USDC. They can participate in the market. They can invest in more real world assets that are on chain, or they can invest in the crypto world. But a lot of them, they didn't have a really clean way to get that USDC into something like DeFi. Enter what Curve and Elixir just did with BlackRock, where they created a bridge that can allow this USDC to be pulled out of the real world asset space and into the crypto space. So now people can use this USDC, use their distributions to do things like stablecoin yield, to do things like liquidity pooling. Now enters a brand new source of capital that can really elevate a lot of what's going on in DeFi. It is extremely exciting. And right now they have their money market fund, which is Buidl. But imagine when they start tokenizing a lot of their other real world assets and products, bringing more investors into the game and just creating this ecosystem of real world asset, USDC, DeFi. bouncing between both of them. I think that at some point, a lot of the money markets will lose some of their flair because people will, these qualified purchasers will realize how effective these stablecoin yields and these DeFi markets are for generating yield.
It's the new financial system. Do you want in or you want out? Shouts out to Curve too. I love their UX, their interface. It feels like an old 1990s computer, and I think they've clearly got a very powerful DeFi platform on their hands. So love to
Yeah.
see it.
Cool to see Securitize mentioned in here as well.
Yeah,
Looks like
Securitize, the platform that Buidl is available on.
sounds good to me. It's good to hear they're active and building. So
Yeah, they actually the new SEC chair that was proposed is actually on the Securitize advisory board.
bullish.
Yeah, we got to
Good
get
news.
Vertalo up in there. Shouts out to Vertalo and Dave Hendricks leading that space.
Absolutely. So next up, here we have a very interesting article. There's going to be a lot of good things happening for crypto when Trump's president. And this could be one of the most promising, which is generally a better environment for staking yields. And specifically, this is talking about Ethereum staking. But staking has always been in a little bit of a legal gray area. So hopefully that's something that will open up a bit under Trump.
Yeah, I mean, what you're seeing is exactly what you just said, Dylan. It's and not just Trump, but also all of the congressmen, congresswomen, and senators that were just elected that are pro crypto and really driving the industry forward. I mean, this is something that under the previous administration would never fly. I mean, you saw how the SEC under Gary Gensler treated the crypto industry, went after people, rejected very common sense accessibility tools to crypto. And it's a no-brainer that people should be able to have a staked ETH yield fund. And to do it as an ETF is a no-brainer. We want to be able to give access to institutions to use these incredible technology and financial breakthroughs. And this is unbelievable and really good for markets that don't have access to Web3 rails but want to participate in the industry.
Definitely good to see. I think overall, Trump is going to help improve the environment for crypto. That's for sure. And we need that. Regulation is going to be good because this place is the Wild West. And the next story really shows how much of the Wild West it truly is. We have the Hawk Tuah girl. She launched a meme coin, and it's very controversial. A lot of people are talking about this. Twitter has absolutely exploded with that Hawk Tuah meme coin, and a lot of people feel like something went wrong with the launch. We don't really know. We're just here to digest the news. It's only been a day since this broke, but there's a lot that could be said about it. And personally, I've already seen too much about it, and it's only been one day. So maybe when you guys want to explain what happened here.
Yeah, she launched it and then she really spit on that thing. Obviously there's two sides to every story, of course. I think poor Hailey. What has been made clear, right? We're researchers. It's our job to digest the situation. We listened to an entire Twitter space with her and her, seemingly some people from the team around her. It really does seem that she is genuinely not too involved in understanding the greater complexities of how the whole crypto economics of her project was going to run and work. So I do kind of feel bad for her in terms of like a team around her took her fame and virality and wanted to make some money off of it. I think the situation is still unfolding, right? There's a lot of different analysis on kind of what happened. Essentially, people think that A sniper came in, sniper bots, which is like little bots that people have running that buy up every new coin in existence. Because when you first launch a coin, if you do it in a manner that's not that foolproof, it can get bought up by just random people. So someone bought up, basically sniped the coin, bought up 96, 97% of the supply, then sold that. I guess it went from about a $500 million market cap to about a tenth of that in a couple hours, meaning that most people that bought into it were just paying one seller the profits, or essentially their capital. So look, it's a silly situation. I think you guys who are actually investing in things, please do some diligence on what you're buying, and maybe watch coins and projects for a few months before you enter them. I mean, who knows? Now that we're one day in and what, 90% down, maybe it's time for a good entrance to Hawk. I could not.
It's not. It's not. It's
It's not. You're not buying Hawk.
87% of the supply is still controlled by the same people that sold it.
What about when it's 86%?
Well, imagine if they burn it. If they burn it.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Mark, you described a possible situation, and I'm not going to say that I know everything, but what people were speculating, and it's on chain. When things are on chain, this is one of the best parts about blockchain. You can see who held specific coins, and you can see where that liquidity came from and who was selling. What people were complaining about was that it was the same accounts that were given tokens from the jump that were associated as part of the team that were buying it up and then getting coins that they were just given and then selling and dumping their tokens on everybody. So I'd say that we shouldn't make any assumptions about this, and we should wait till CoffeeZilla, who is an incredible investigative reporter in the space and does a lot of on-chain forensics, when he puts out a report on what happened and who was selling, then we'll know more. I do agree with you, Mark. I do feel bad for her. She was probably clueless. She was probably told one thing, and someone who was running it, or multiple people who were running it, may have done some shady stuff without her knowledge. And now she's a little too clueless to understand what's going on and why she may end up having to pay a fine from the SEC, or I don't want to say possible jail time, but you can't rule it out because it is legal.
You know what? Something's wrong with me. I just want to buy it, man. Look at this chart.
It's because you've seen too many charts that look just like that. But
okay.
I'll remind you.
Let's say it makes a comeback. Then she can't go to jail. Free her. Save Hailey Welch. What if it makes a comeback? Then she won't have to go to jail.
We're about to see Dill to a coin.
No, this is a long-term project. No, this is a long-term project.
I think, look, guys, seriously, that's a great timing, Alec. This is the definition the difference between a short-term project and a long-term project. A short-term project happens overnight, and a long-term project, happens over a decade. And we, at Advantage Blockchain, we look for long-term projects. So I'll leave it at that.
I don't know. I don't know. I might buy a little bit. Right now, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, while I'm buying the Hawk Tuah coin, let's hop over to Dex Screener right now, because we're going to talk about a couple of our favorite altcoin picks. First up, we have one of my personal favorites here, which is AERO. And AERO has been absolutely crushing it lately. It's a big move that we've been waiting for. It's one of the best dexes out there, the best dex on base. And I'm super bullish. I'm staking, I'm farming, I'm yielding off of it. And to me, it's something that has pretty good growth prospects. It's also a larger cap coin on base. So I think it's a solid bet for the long term, personally.
Yeah, forget base. It's one of the best decentralized exchanges in existence. This is, some of the best on-chain technology seems to be made by some of the best core devs in the industry. Just the interface, the usability, their whole white paper, all their documents. Like Aerodrome is truthfully likely going to become the central liquidity hub for maybe the whole on-chain industry. For Base, they've already established themselves at that, but they've got room to grow. In my opinion, I think we can get technical and advanced on how they handle their voting. The voting mechanism and how essentially all of that works with LPing and generating even more yield, giving that yield to both to voters. It's some really complex yet efficient and optimized stuff they have going on. And really, you have to lock up your arrow for what, 4 years to get a 1-to-1 return. So it's like they're really not being greedy either. These guys are creating fair yields based on users locking up tokens for a longer term period and then actually being active and governing the protocol. It's like they almost have combined really a lot of the elements that we've seen in all of the best blockchain projects between governance, liquidity, yielding, and community, and timing, place and time, being on base, and they've got it all in one. And what they're doing with the CBTC reserves, the Coinbase Bitcoin, and yielding all of that, it's like, look, Coinbase is holding what, 80% of the whole world's capital in on chain, and a lot of that is going to be in Bitcoin. And I think if I have a hunch, if I were a betting man, I would bet that they would start to move some of that into Base, making a lot of these pools bigger, making Arrow have way more TVL. This project is a whale that is still young in age, in our opinion.
Hey, Marc, do you have any of your Arrow locked for 4 years?
Yes, I have a tiny bit locked for 4 years, which I think all of the devs have all of theirs constantly locked for 4 years. I know Dylan is a staking maxi, masternode king, so he has all of his locked, for permanently. I'm actually in the strategy. We just did a couple different things with the fund. I think that there's a big concern. If you lock something up for too long, you might miss the pump, right? So it's like, where's the best of both worlds? We just locked up a bit for 6 months because I think in about 6 months' time, we might start to see a little bit of turnaround in the market. That's going to give us the ability to yield on Arrow, yield in different coins that we're voting on. So we're earning Miggles, we're earning virtuals, and earning USD and Arrow, and we can also remove it in 6 months so that if Arrow is up 30x by then, we can sell, and we don't have to watch it go up and down. So I'm kind of taking a more of a trader approach. Some people are taking a more long-term approach. Some people are maxing out on the short-term yield. It's like, look, it's a whole market. It's a whole hub of liquidity. So really awesome project.
Hey, Marc, do you know what you're going to say in 4 years when your Arrow unlocks?
What's that?
4 more years. 4 more years.
Yeah, 4 for 4. I got you a 4 for 4 for your birthday. You'll hear about it soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. For me personally, I keep a bag of Arrow ready to sell, and then I'm also yielding in Arrow, so I'm earning more Arrow along the way. So definitely bullish on Arrow. Great decks. And let's go over to Miggles, our favorite meme coin on Base. Mr. Miggles, absolutely crushing it. In a little bit of a pullback right now, but probably a great time to add some more. I bought some a little bit earlier today.
Yeah, my favorite meme coin in existence. Miggles is absolutely amazing. Everything they're doing with their team it's like they're fundamentally actually building, which is, the joke is this cycle, anything that has utility is a boring boomer tech CIA coin, right? So, I've seen the meta for this cycle from the real shitcoin traders in the trenches is maybe hold about 10% in the CIA coins, which is Bitcoin and ETH. And then for the other 90% of your portfolio, you want to split that amongst, you got your dogs, you've got your cats, you've got some hippos, other animals, you've got your schizo community, you've got your, Mog and Giga communities. and you can even maybe throw a couple percent into the experimental plays, like Hawk Tuah. But yeah, I think all of that trash aside, Miggles, look, we've already talked about how it's being led by Coinbase, which is insane. Was just reading in their whale chat a lot of developments that they have coming with. They've launched their AI agents, right? They have two so far, which is Dark Miggles. Big shouts out to Dark Miggles. He lives under my bed at night. I think he's been in my nightmares for almost my whole life, but we won't get into that. And then they also have VC Trader Miggles, which I believe is going to be kind of like exactly what it says, an AI agent that talks a bit about more about trading and plays in the crypto market, which is awesome. That Miggles is using one of his 9 lives for that. Look, the point is, Miggles has 9 lives. They're building out the lore of this, this meme, which is amazing, and they're turning it into a real life game, which is evolving into having these AI agents that are going to have personalities, that are going to have people interacting with them. They have an entire gaming studio working with them to build this out. And they're not just, pushing this here in America, but also in Asia. So in Japan and China, it's like, look, they are focused on global adoption and generating real revenue through a variety of methods. So I think with that approach and strategy and a powerhouse like Coinbase and many others behind them, I mean, what, 91 million? What did we say Hawk Tuah got to?
Hawk Tuah got to 500 million.
Yeah, we're early. We're early on Miggles.
It's more than a meme. It's IP. It's game. It's AI. It's super exciting, and honestly, super excited about what they're doing in AI, and love virtual and what they're doing, and this, obviously we're going to talk about it next with the chart up.
Yeah, and when we talk about AI, we're not talking about Allen Iverson. We're talking about artificial intelligence. Virtual's protocol is one that we found, maybe a few weeks ago, found it around 200 mil market cap. Now it's, close to 2 billion. It's been absolutely mooning. We need more of this, and have not actually played around with too many of the agents themselves. We're sticking to the base layer technology, the protocol tech. But essentially what this Virtuals protocol is, I think the easiest way to understand it is they've engineered an easy way for anyone to launch their own essentially NPC character that is powered by AI, right? So that could be someone in a video game, that could be a Twitter account, whatever you want to make as a user. If you want to, make yourself a new girlfriend, right? You could go launch it if you wanted her to have a coin and people to be able to invest in her. You can get some virtuals, bond them, use the virtuals, actually having some utility in the coin, using the coin to then create these agents. And then, now what I'm also seeing is that people are getting airdrops from other agents from just having virtual. So I think, we have not really had an AI play until now. Honestly, I kind of was in the boat that AI was a little bit overhyped, only because I think I was jealous that all of these big institutions have been talking about AI for the past year, and they only started talking about crypto a couple months ago. But Virtuals is a really, really powerful protocol. It seems like, and I would definitely do some research on them if you have not already.
Yeah. So I have a couple of things to say. One, AI and crypto are very naturally tied together. I think when people think of emerging markets in tech right now, the two biggest ones are AI and crypto. For a while, crypto people were trying to find a solution for AI without really a problem. There was never really a need for AI to be involved in crypto. And actually, the way that I see this is AI founded that they needed crypto, and that's what happened. And you have this use case where you can create these trading agent or these AI agents that can participate in the market I think it's so powerful because what it shows is how accessible crypto actually is. Not only is it accessible as a financial tool for people that typically don't have access to financial tools, but it goes beyond that. It goes beyond humans, where now you can give AI a wallet to be able to participate in the market. So this is so accessible that right now it is humans and now AI that can participate, which you could never say about the financial markets that are traditional.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing technology. The future
Yep.
is now.
And one more thing that we want to talk about before we close it out today is our favorite NFT, the Base Gods, which recently went on an absolute tear. Mark, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, so we've been talking about base gods publicly since they were worth about 0.22 ETH. They're now over 10x that. The real run up has happened quite swiftly. You guys can follow Meowfosaurus on X. He is a big player in the base NFT market, and when I say big, I mean he's probably like one of the biggest whales in of all the NFTs on base. Meowfosaurus, shouts out to him, meow. And Base Gods is, I mean, look, since Jesse Pollock, what if the founder of Base tells you to take a look at something, you should probably take a look at it. And that's what he did. Base God is like one of the funniest meme creators. They actually do a very good job just creating genuine memes. If granted they weren't actually tied into all of the really close knit core elite dev circles that we believe they are. Even if they weren't doing that, like they're just funny, and they worship Big B, who is imagined to be Brian Armstrong. Shouts out to Big B. Thank you, Base God. Also, shouts out to Lil B, who is the real first Base God and a big inspiration in my life. But I think you guys should check out. Thank you, Base God. Check out Base God. These guys are building one of the most fascinating on-chain cults that is truly around positivity. If you go read the 10 Commandments of Base God and you become a disciple and you shave your head and your legs, and then you can actually, it's really all based around positivity and being yourself, being a good actor on chain, which is just even more kind of proof that these guys are clearly, good actors, good white hats that are building out this ecosystem and having a little fun at the same time. So I love them. Thank you, Base God.
Nothing like being yourself on chain.
Yeah. And when Jesse shaves his head, and when Jesse shaves his head, Jesse Pollock, the founder of Base, and I think when Brian Armstrong, if he ever changes his PFP to a Base God, I mean, these things are going to 10 ETH potentially. We're theorizing, obviously
Not
not
financial
investment
advice.
advice. Yeah. None of this is financial advice. This is all just education, speculation. We're just trying to give you guys the tools and information that you need or want to succeed. Wow, look at that logo. Is this not one of the best logos in
Can
the
I
game?
say something real quick about this logo and this website? I spoke to a web designer yesterday. Well, that's not her main job. She is in the industry, in the crypto industry, on more of the institutional side. Former web designer. She said that we have one of the most impressive websites she's ever seen. And I'll give all the shouts out to our CEO and founder, Marc Paquin, who did it all himself.
And part-time web designer. I gotta shout out to Sierra. Sierra Mergliano is an amazing designer as well. She gave us the base. She gave us a lot of our branding. She built our logo, obviously with our help, but really gave us the base website, the bones. I've spent a couple hundred hours touching it up since then. But yeah, it's not easy. I really appreciate that. from whoever you said this was. And I agree, man. We have an awesome landing page, and it's only getting better. We're building out the AB research library, which we want to be the biggest public research, library for blockchain in the world, for free. We're really trying to get all of our information that we're constantly sending to each other. We're trying to, we have been aggregating it and curating it for the world, but organizing all of that into one big library database. We're working on doing that for you guys and getting that out there so that you can be just as tapped in as we are. And here you see AB research. We've also got On-Chain 101. If you're really a fresh beginner, you can take our course. On-Chain 101, it was built out by our head of research, Whitetail, another big base godhead, been partying in Mexico.
Who's usually on this podcast, but unfortunately has fallen ill. And so
he's fallen ill to the taco tours.
If you notice that there's only 3 of us today, it is because our mighty director of research has fallen ill to Mexico City tacos.
Yeah, but this is, I agree, a beautiful page as well. We're constantly building this. We also got the cult supplies coming real soon. Look out for AB culture supplies. We're going to be launching a whole lot of different merchandise so you guys can pick up gear for all your favorite cultures. And yeah, this is a work in progress. AB is an enterprise. We're really driven around giving you guys the best education, on-chain tools, and ways to find out about investing in this space, and make sure you can do it safely and securely. So thank you guys for watching and tuning in. Anyone else got anything to add?
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Go to advantageblockchain.com, check out some of our resources, and I may have bought some Tuah in the background live here. I'm not going to.
All right, you culture vulture.
You guys can tune into Dill's live stream now, and at the same time, you might see some major green candles on the 10-second chart for Tuah. All right, thank you guys. I'll see you next time.
Bye.